Hi guys, what's up? My name is Moran. Welcome to another episode of Getting Personal, and today we've got something a little bit different because I found a story on two X chromosomes that is written by a woman who did a bunch of interviews with incels. Now, I find the whole incel culture both scary and fascinating. I think when aliens come down and see what's happening down here, they will be unimpressed in general. But if they go on incel forums and read up on there, I think they'll just fly back and be like, nope, do whatever you want here, but without us. Sorry, we're not gonna be friends. Let's take a look at the story. I interviewed a bunch of incels as part of a film I'm making with a women's art collective. I'm a part of a collective of women collaborating on an artistic project about the attitudes of men and women towards sex. As part of this project, I've interviewed a number of self-confessed incels. As a sexually liberated feminist, these interviews were tough. I'm both disgusted and terrified by the incel ideology, but the aim of these conversations was to explore these men's attitude towards women, and withholding judgment and dispute was necessary to create an environment where these men felt able to open up and give honest answers. From these interviews, we've uncovered what we believe is a cycle that shows how young men are corrupted into the incel ideology. Ooh, now this is interesting. I thought some of you may be interested in hearing it, and I'd really welcome any thoughts from your own experiences that either support or challenge this theory. Each man I spoke with was obsessed with physical appearance. They strongly believed women would only seek a relationship with men who are attractive or successful, ideally both. When I suggested this was an inaccurate stereotype of 3 billion unique individuals, these men all defended the idea with phrases like, I've seen it happen many times, and that's been my experience. They all claimed they only see women with attractive men. My theory here is I've seen it actually means it's what I've read on the internet. If you walk through any public space, you will see a diverse range of couples, so the idea that women will only date attractive men is rubbish. It is absolutely bullshit. Like, absolute bullshit. I honestly saw more couples where the girl is hella hot and the guy is either average or unattractive than I've seen couples where it would be an attractive guy and a pretty girl. My next challenge was to try to understand why these men choose to believe what they read online over what they see in real life. The simple answer is it's easier to blame others than taking responsibility for yourself. 1000% yes. I asked these men how they thought their lives would be different if they were attractive. I received a few different replies, but the majority were variations of the idea that people would treat them better and they would feel more accepted and therefore naturally come away with a better personality. Oh, honey, your personality can be changed in so many ways. You're just not trying. So essentially, their personality would be better if people treated them better. This was one of many examples of how these men place the blame for their own shortcomings on women. And when I pointed this out, I received the reply, you cannot separate yourself from the effects of others. You absolutely can. You are always under the influence of others, but you are also in control of yourself and of your mind. And ultimately, the only person who can help yourself is you. The belief was their personality and worth are completely defined by others, namely women, and they have no control over this. I then asked what non-physical qualities they have that they think women might be interested in. This question was mainly dodged by saying something like, I can't read women's minds. Of course, because they have no idea what you actually need to have for the woman to find you attractive. They only rely on these superficial definitions like women want successful and attractive men. This is literally their excuse for being mean and angry and just backing themselves in the corner instead of improving themselves. So I flipped the question to ask what non-physical attributes they look for in a woman. Not a single one of these men gave a serious answer to this question, and this is where everything started to make sense in my mind. These men see women as objects and therefore become obsessed with attractiveness. This makes them feel physically inadequate because they believe attractiveness is outside of their control. They blame shallow women for their inability to find a partner. And then we're back to the beginning. His resentment of women reinforces their objectification of women. The cycle repeats and they fall deeper into inceldom. I think this is a very accurate representation of what's going on. These conversations were quite scary to conduct, and it's worrying how easily someone can fall into this kind of echo chamber and how normalized it has become with influencers like Andrew Tate becoming more mainstream. But what pissed me off more than anything is the "I've seen it" defense. These men are lying to themselves because it's easier for them to believe everyone else is the problem rather than taking actions to improve their own lives. They repeatedly claimed to have no control over their own life, whereas they are actually the cause of their own problems. The findings from these interviews are going to be used in a film we're making as part of an art installation. I've only touched on a small sample of what we've uncovered, so I'd be happy to answer any questions anyone has on these interviews, and I'd really like to know if what we've uncovered so far fits in with other people's experiences. Edit, rather than responding to all the individual questions about the project, it's going to be an online exhibition touching on different subjects relating to the influences behind people's attitudes towards sex, touching on subjects like inceldom, kink, BDSM, pornography, and feminist sexual liberation. It won't be out until next year, but I will post about it once it's done. Thanks so much for the support. I will leave this woman's post in the description in case you want to track it and see her project once it's out. But yes, I want to say that it was actually a very insightful post as far as condensing the incel cycle of self-harm goes, because I think this is exactly how they work. I had an incel subscriber who would be very weird. I talked about him in a different video. He would tell me similar things, like the OP summarized. He would tell me that he was just born ugly, so he has no way of getting out of this loop. And he was like 30 something, okay? So not a teenager. He was like a grown-ass man. He said, I can't find a woman because they all want money. They all want attractive men. They all are very shallow. They are not interested in who I am. And then when I was like, well, what woman would you like? He basically just said any. So they don't really care. You know, it's like they do see women as just something to have sex with. That's why they are having trouble understanding how to communicate with them, because they don't see them as human beings. And then they get upset because they can't get a woman to be interested in them. And why would a woman be interested in them if all they do is just spew the misogynistic bullshit they heard from Andrew Tate? This is all just a vicious cycle of garbage being like thrown out over and over and over. Anyway, I'm just gonna wrap this up here. I will see you with another video real soon. Thank you so much for watching, even though none of y'all is here. Bye.